Well, it's down to the wire on putting together the squash blossom, and I am so glad that I went out this morning and got a fresh tank of gas. I was originally thinking I had very minimal things to solder, mostly just the hook and clasp on the sterling chain. And I thought I have enough, or I can use the little butane for that. Oh my god. I'm setting the very last stone on one of the squash blossoms, and the bezel seam splits. So I've got that taken off, sanded the surface, and I've put some easy paste solder on there and made a new bezel. So fingers crossed this goes. Although now it'll probably change the look of the patina on this one. Hopefully I can get it to match up again. We'll see. So I'm going to try soldering this on and see how that goes. See solder flowing? Is it going all the way around? Come on. I'm gonna put some more in there just in case. Okay, I see it going around. Everybody hold your fingers crossed. Okay. Okay. I saw it flow all the way around. Let's make sure nothing came undone. Looks good. It's at this point I'm thinking, why didn't I make sure I had the big showstopper piece done at least a full week ahead of time? Okay, in the pickle. I think we did it, guys. While that cleans up, I'm going to go around the edge of the other bezels that did set nicely with a pumice wheel, because I hammer set these, so there's just little tiny, it's probably not going to show up, but just little tiny marks that I want to try and clean up a little bit. Okay, I think I lucked out big time. It's all soldered, seam looks good, nothing came undone. So I'm going to throw it in the patina pot, and hopefully it comes out to a similar color as the ones that I did yesterday. And then we'll throw it in the tumbler for a little bit. Okay, it looks pretty good. I think it looks just like the ones yesterday came out. I'm going to hit it with this real soft little scrubby. And then we're going to throw it in the steel shot tumbler for maybe 30 minutes this time. I think I just trying to remember yesterday how I buffed these. I just went around the blossom real quick. Didn't spend too much time wiping off. Okay. Into the steel shot tumbler now. While that's in the tumbler, I'm going to go ahead and start stringing what I can and get the first couple of blossoms strung up. But here's the pendant, little Thunderbird. And I ended up adding a little die for his chest instead of just doing something with metal, silver, or street signs. And he's riveted. Came out really cute. I had so many ideas for how to do the feathers. I think I'm going to have to make a few more Thunderbird necklaces. I just was having the worst time trying to pick one design, but I really like this one, the little stamped silver. Then on the back, I decided to add some tubing through here and then flare it so they don't come out, but that'll kind of give the pendant something sturdier to hang on to rather than just having it on the chain. This is my third squash blossom, and I think I've done every one different. This is something new I'm trying, but I think that's going to be really good. It was a trick holding this and then flaring those, but I got it done. So I'm going to start stringing. Okay, I'm to the stringing part of this necklace, which is probably the most stressful part for me because I am not a bead stringer. I did not come into jewelry through that route like a lot of folks do. So this is kind of the most tense part for me because I'm just not real familiar with all the different techniques for stringing. So far so good. I'm using beading chain, sterling beading chain for this one. So what I've done on this first strand is I've soldered a jump ring onto the chain, and then that slides over and then we'll continue into one strand. But that's just really tricky. You know, you can get the one in good, but then to finish the other side, you have to have just a small little amount of the chain sticking out and then all these other pieces. So I threw a wet paper towel over the stone here to kind of keep that end cool while I soldered that second ring on. But it's looking pretty good. Okay, almost there. We're on to the single strand portion. It's finished! Yay! Feels good, and it's my first squash blossom where I've taken the beads all the way to the back. Normally I'll stop about here and do some handmade chain, but the bead making went so smoothly this time that I ended up with a lot more and was able to do the whole thing. This wasn't the best shirt to wear while showing it off, but I only had one mishap, but luckily we were able to fix that. Thank goodness we went and got a fresh tank of gas today, or I probably wouldn't have been able to fix that with the blossom. And the patina ended up matching. Very happy with it. I definitely think I'm gonna do some more Thunderbirds. Maybe not the full squash blossom, but I love the little pendant on this one. and I had so many ideas for the wing and feather variations, so I think there'll be a few more Thunderbirds in the future. And I will show you a little more detail. I didn't want to go into too much on the stringing because, again, that's not my strong point. I use my grandmother's squash blossom as reference and some other pieces that I have. But we took chain and I soldered a jump ring, and then that catches on to the next strand so that we can go from 2 to 1. I had these little cones that I made that were failed blossoms, but they work perfect for little end caps. So the chain goes up, and I've got these little, they're almost like a crimp bead, but it's a bead. So I ran the chain through there and put lots of solder in the little well of the bead crimp and soldered the chain in there and then attached it to my clasp. So I'll lay this down and do a little close-up for you. Okay, a little more of a close-up. So on the pendant, there's tabs that come over, and then the die has 4 pieces of tubing soldered to it that become rivets to the back side. This little rivet is right here. Feathers I soldered on. This head's a little hollow form. You can see that again. With a heart. I've got Kingman turquoise, and then a close-up, the jump ring soldered onto the end of the beading chain, and then loop it onto the next strand. You can see the little bead crimps there. And I soldered the chain to the inside of that, folded it, and then ran my jump rings for the clasp through. Very happy with it. Here's a look at the back side. And I have 80 beads in 3 sizes. It was a lot of fun to spend so much time on one piece, and I'm really looking forward to starting another one. Thanks for following along on this Making a Squash Blossom series. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any part of it, just let me know. You can always leave questions and comments. Anything that you'd like to see me cover again, or that maybe I didn't cover, other than the stringing, because that's really not my that's not my expertise, so I'm definitely gonna have to learn up on that a little bit more. But anything else, please leave comments and questions if you have them. And I'm gonna have to come up with another project. I like doing a little series like this. It was fun. We'll see you next week. We just dropped off the jewelry, and I thought you'd enjoy seeing the Midtown Gallery inside of the Clay Works in Hutchinson, Kansas. This is where I'll be showing the month of July. The cases here on the right will be for the jewelry. They're in the process right now of changing out from the June to July show. But it's a beautiful space, and I hope if you're in the area that you're able to stop by and take a look at it.